Welcome back. The ANC Free State Provincial Elective Conference has been delayed yet again. This after the registration of delegates was disrupted. eNCA's Moloko Moloto is in Bloemfontein and joins us now for more. Moloko, no doubt with so many delays to this conference and yet another delay today, the provincial structures must be very disappointed.
Good evening, Anli Hatting. Well, I have lost count in terms of the number of postponements this province has had to deal with in as far as this provincial conference is concerned. Of course, this weekend they have called one and all from their branches, media, to come and be part of this provincial conference in Bloemfontein. It was meant to commence today, but there has been delays. Importantly, I must indicate, Anli, is that the registration of delegates was underway at an outdoor center in just in the precinct of Dr. Petrus Molemela Stadium at around 10 or 11 in the morning. However, there were disruptions by unhappy members of the ANC, and as a result, the ANC decided to postpone the registrations. And you would understand that the conference, the entire conference, hinges on the registration of delegates, because those are the people who really are supposed to be participating in this. But let me bring into this conversation Bra Oba Hobani. He speaks for the ANC's interim provincial interim committee in the Free State. Bra Oba, when is this going to start? I mean, by now you should have begun or presumably concluded the registration process, and we understand that the national chairperson of the ANC, Gore Mandashe, is in town. He was supposed to open this. Is it ever going to happen today?
Good evening. Yes, the conference is going to start tonight. We just have to finish with registrations and immediately start with the conference. And remember that the first part of the conference is an open session, so the issue of credentials are not critical at that time. But once we go into a closed session, that's where credentials will be critical. So we will start tonight. In no time from now, we'll be beginning with finalizing the registrations, take region by region, ensure that everyone registers for a conference.
You have had to change venue of registration. Where is this registration taking place currently, and what measures have you put in place to ensure that you don't encounter disruptions again?
No, the venue of the registration will be told to delegates first, so that they can go there and register, just to avoid unnecessary disturbances. But that will happen in no time. Registration will commence and we'll have our conference tonight.
Yeah, Bra Oba, I'm sure everybody who follows ANC politics would understand that every elective conference, tensions tend to grow high, primarily because of preferences, and that's normal, really. But in your province, things seem to be deeper. The factions, and we have heard from the National Executive Committee member, Mr. David Mahlobo, who says they have actually identified your province as one of the high risks when it comes to the instability. Does it mean that the ANC is really failing when it comes to this renewal project, considering the fact that you, as the Provincial Interim Committee, when you were appointed, the task was to renew the branches of the ANC? Have you failed there?
We haven't failed with the renewal process. The issue of disruptions in this way, it's more of criminality, which has been allowed to go on, unhindered. It's a problem of criminality, where you see a situation as if people are being hired to go and disrupt the meetings of the ANC.
Who hired these people?
I'm just saying it's like you see that people are being hired, because it's not the situation. Even if you like in this situation, avenues have been provided for people who have disputes or grievances, to deal with them. And people choose not to do that, but to disrupt the event.
One of the complaints by unhappy members of the ANC is that some of the delegates nominated by branches, they have been removed, replaced by people who were not nominated. And I understand that the National Dispute Resolution Committee has been seized with resolving such issues. Has there been at any given point where you found that such complaints are legitimate? Did you find that indeed in some instances a delegate from branch A or B was removed unlawfully?
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the process. That's why we establish committees like the Dispute Resolution Committee to be able to deal with such complaints. And what we encourage is that because you as a delegate, you are an individual, you can't come with a group to complain, but you have to come as an individual and raise the issue that I have been changed, I was a delegate. And the committee is then able to deal with that and ensure that the matter is resolved.
All right, we don't have much time left. I want us to talk about the remarks that were made by the former Secretary General of the ANC, Ace Magashule, who for a long period of time was the chairperson of the ANC in this province. This morning he said, this conference is rigged already. People who think they can contest and win against particularly those who are currently, the likes of yourself, who are running the Provincial Interim Committee, must forget. Is he lying there?
I cannot comment about what an individual is saying. It is only people who are involved in arranging the conference who knows the issues that are involved. It is members of the branches who are affected by what happened in their own branch general meeting that will understand and know what happened. And that's why those committees, dispute resolution committees, are dealing with those things. And in a situation where a person is found to have registered as a delegate when he was not elected in the branch general meeting, such an event, you find a person being changed. It happened with when we were going to the national conference. So also in this situation, it's still happening. So I can't comment on what an individual who's not involved in these issues.
All right. Members of the ANC, particularly in this province, are very litigious. We have seen others trying to interdict, for instance, the Mangaung conference, the regional conference. And at this point in time, is there any threat that some of your members may even go to court to challenge? Have you heard anything along those lines?
We can't say people are going to do that or not, but we are trying to do everything to resolve issues so that we avoid such situations. But in a situation where a person feels that he still wants to continue taking matters to institutions outside the organization, we are not stopping people from doing that, but we encourage members of the ANC to resolve issues internally so that we then refine the systems that we have and avoid such incidences recurring in the future.
All right, thanks, Bra Uba Khwabane. He speaks for the Provincial Interim Committee of the ANC. We will obviously get more details in terms of the program as to when the top 5 officials will be elected. But as he said, the first part, the open session, when it comes to attendance, the impression I'm getting is that they would really not be very strict as to who attends. But the credentials, we know in many provinces, they often tend to delay the conferences themselves. Of course, we are here until Monday when hopefully this conferences would have wrapped up. By then we were told that Gwede Mantashe was supposed to open it today, and President Cyril Ramaphosa was supposed to deliver closing remarks when it closes.